Yes, good morning, students, and welcome to the class of SAP. Good morning, Nagraj sir, and a warm welcome to you, sir.
Thank you so very much, madam. Very good morning.
Yes, sir. You may please start the session, sir.
Sure. So we are in the last phase of our training sessions. Another 4 days, including today. So any questions, please let me know. And we are getting into the other areas like asset accounting and management accounting, then integration. All right. So any moment, any question, please put it up in the Q&A section. So we'll allow our attendees to join in. Probably in another couple of more minutes, maybe say 5 minutes, we'll start our session. Okay. I'll be on mute, but I'll be taking up your questions whenever somebody puts it up in the Q&A section. Just a minute more, students, and then we will start. Meantime, I see a very interesting questions.
So I'll put them in the published section so that it'll be easy for you to identify the questions and reply.
Not a problem, madam. This is also okay,
Yes.
but you can also put it in the published charge. Not a problem.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay, students, we'll start today's session and let the others join in. Now, so where had we actually stopped? We had stopped at the almost we had ended the AP and the AR submodules in SAP in the finance side. Now, the only thing which I had to touch upon was the down payment, the advances. And I see some very interesting question as to the balance carry forward and all other things. All right. Now, any questions from the topics which we have already covered? You can ask me during the session. But now, how does the opening balance get transferred? How to? This was a question, right? How to carry forward the, see, when you are closing the books of accounts and you're opening the books of accounts for the new year, whatever balance you have in the P&L account should be transferred as a profit or a loss, right? So that is a question here. How do you carry forward the previous year balances, right? Now, there is a concept called as, let me just log into the SAP. Okay. Now, there is also, just like the reconciliation account, carry forward the balances of your customers, vendors, and we are going to see how it is going to do it in the assets. Clear? There is also a media through which the final balance, the last balance of your P&L account gets carried forward as the opening balance. The closing balance of your previous year P&L gets carried forward as the opening balance for the current year. How does this happen? And here also, you see that SAP has a standard methodology. So this is set up by the consultant again. Clear? So let us go to the consultant screen. Anyway, I'm not going to spend much time in navigating through in the consultant screen, but I'll just show you the place where you can actually know where the final balances are gathered and transferred. Clear? Let me just check if I need to cover something. Okay, sounds good. Just hold on. I'm just checking if I have accidentally skipped some important information. Just hold on. Hmm. Okay, we finished the chart of accounts, assigning account group. Okay, this is the concept. You have something called as a retained earnings account. So the balances is carried forward in the form of in SAP. It is a media. It is a media through which the closing balance is accumulated and transferred during the closing processes. Okay, so let us read this. If you can read the document, you can go through. Now I will execute this to find out what is that. See, immediately it will ask me which is a chart of accounts. So as usual, I will go to the standard SAP defined INT chart of accounts. Enter. Now can you see your carry forward general ledger? This also is a general ledger account, 9 followed by 5 zeros. This is the standard GL account, which is used as a via media for you to carry forward the profit and loss account balances to your balance sheet. Now, there is something called as X. It is just some identifier. Why X? Why not Y? Why not Z? Let us not get into all those questions. This is a standard, just like you have INT 0001. This X is also a standard SAP definition. And this, as I said, is also a general ledger account defined in your operational chart of accounts. Clear? Now let me see my GM00. I will just say GM00. See, I have defined two retained earnings account. Purposes are different. Okay. Now I have X and Y, but all you need to remember is remember that these are also simple general ledger accounts in your operational chart of accounts. Okay. This is the way through which the final balances get carried forward. Now, how does SAP know that it should carry forward the balances? What is the way that the consultant or the system should connect this particular retained earnings account to your operations or to your transactions? Very interesting. Let me go back to the GL account master data in my easy access accounting, financial accounting, general ledger. Here I'll go a little slow because this is your screen. Master records, GL accounts, individual processing. Now in this case, what I'll do is I'll pick up some random general P&L general ledger account. Okay, 416300. See, it is a P&L account statement. It is a this GL account is for quarter expenses. All right. It is the character of this general ledger account is a profit and loss account. Can you see the X? This is how the balance of any of the P&L account gets carried forward to your balance sheet. Is this clear? Did I answer your question? And basically you do not have, see, whenever we are transferring the closing balances, here again we make use of a separate tool. And this is the specific activity in the cutover activity. You don't manually feed the closing balance, right? Yeah. So this happens only at the installation phase, only at the implementation phase. When the non-SAP system gets transferred to the SAP system, the final balance is carried through a particular activity. That also is automated. That is the only time where you manually enter the final balance. But all other, when the SAP system is up and running, you do not interfere in the process of the closing balances. There is no manual methodology for you to carry forward the final balances once the system is in place. It happens only and the first time, only when you're uploading the data from your legacy systems to your SAP system, only then this happens. Am I clear? Did you understand the process of how the balance carry forward takes place? If you want to see the balance carry forward account, general ledger account, what was the general ledger account? 9 followed by 5 zeros, 9 lakh. See, it is a balance sheet account. And hence you cannot see any plus or X or Y or Z or whatever it is. Can you see this is empty? You can take up any balance sheet account. You can take up the bank account also. There is no indication of an X or a Y because it is not a P&L account. Was this clear? I have still not come to the asset accounting portion, boss. Please hold on. I know you're very enthusiastic, but please hold on. Please hold on. Did I answer this question? How to carry forward the year-end closing? I know you know the SAP system, but please be patient enough because I'm addressing not only you, I'm addressing the other students also. So please hold on, right? I have still not come to the asset accounting. So please hold on. Accounts payable, how to block a current pay, how to block the current payment run, you can do it. Okay, I'll tell you. Did I answer these questions? Please make it a point to tell me whether I have answered your questions or not, because I will not be in a position to understand if you have understood the concepts. Right? Okay, I would assume that I have answered your question and I am moving on. I'm moving ahead. So that's why I said understanding the GL master, the general ledger master, is very, very important, especially when you are talking about a finance consultant. It becomes very, very mandatory. He needs to know what happens where. One tick mark can make the system behave in a different way. And you not ticking one box allows the system to behave in a totally different way. Clear? So you should understand the system first, and moreover, when we take up the role of a finance consultant, it becomes a huge responsibility. Clear? Because something is not happening at the system level, you are questioned. Because everything comes back to the finance department. Everything comes to the finance area. Clear? Was this clear? The year-end closing and things like that? Okay, I assume that I have finished. Now, Very interesting question. Very good questions. Down payment. How do we actually carry this process, carry forward this process? As I said, this is a special general ledger transaction. All right, it is identified differently than that of your ordinary invoice, a purchase or the sale invoice, and your payment and the receipt. Clear? Now, what is the process of down payment? I said you have two things. Now, you remember we had gone about the noted item some time back. Where is that? I was just telling you what is a noted item, right? Yeah, can you see this noted item, down payment? So basically you are taking care of at least these two. This is not necessary. You may not create the down payment request, but the very process. So let me take up the process in SAP where I'm making a down payment. I can also receive. So where do I actually do this process? So for that, let me pick up a vendor where the balance is 0. Okay, so that the understanding of the process is clear. 6400 measures Alpha Limited, right? So I would pick up all the I just want to see how SAP treats. Oh, I have a opening balance of I have a okay. What I'll do is I'll clear this and nullify the uh, balance. Okay, I'll just make this payment. Students, are you getting confused? All I'm doing here is I'm just nullifying the balance so that you are able to identify how exactly the system treats this down payment or the advances received or made. Okay, I'll outgoing payment, a simple posting. Clear? Today I'm going to post this. I forgot the amount. Let me just pick up the amount. It is 191,700. $191,700. Okay, I'll post this and nullify the balance. I'll clear the vendor. Account determination not defined for chart of accounts DN00. What is this? Just hold on. SKE keys. You saw the error? Did you understand anything? So do not bother. Okay, okay, okay. cash discount received. Okay, so this is no, no. Discount is what? This is input tax, cash discount. Just hold on. Please do not bother about this. Just hold on. Please do not try to understand whatever I am doing. I'm simply rectifying this error. Okay, now I carry forward with this thing. Now let me see. Incorrect. Okay, now I think I can post. Let me just check. Account determination. Okay, I'll exit and then come in again. Okay. Okay. Just give me 2 more minutes and I will rectify this error. Just hold on. 001. Just a moment, guys. Sorry if you're getting confused. Don't bother about how I'm rectifying because this is not going to be your okay. Just hold on. I have another way to clear this. Guys, if it is confusing, please excuse me. Because this is not going to be your job. This is a consultant's job. Okay. Probably this is going to clear. Okay. So now 15,000,032 document was posted. Now I will confirm the balance with my vendor. Okay. I'll just see if the vendor balance is 0. So we owe the vendor 0 rupees. We have nothing to pay the vendor. Now I will take you through the process of advances we make to this vendor. So to book our purchases, we are paying the money in advance. So what did I say in my step? Down payment. So special general ledger reconciliation account should be required. Special GL transactions, new reconciliation account. So what was the reconciliation account which we connected the finance module and the AP module? It is 160,000, 1,60,000. You remember? Now, this is for the normal transaction, but I need to ensure as a consultant, I need to ensure that I am giving an error-free system to the end user. How? By ensuring that I have a new reconciliation account to accept the special general ledger transactions. So in my SAP system, as a consultant, what would I do? I would go to SPRO, open the relevant place, open the relevant menu. This is going to be in your consultants menu, so don't bother. AR and AP, vendor accounts, business transactions. Can you see down payment made and received? Both are exactly the same operations, but one you receive and another transaction you make. But for both the transactions, you need to connect the transaction to your new reconciliation account. Let me just check that. New down payment made. Define alternative reconciliation account. Click. So what is our down payment? A, down payments. Double click on A. And how do you make use of this A? I will tell you. Chart of accounts is GM00. I have already connected. So for the special general ledger to accept the special GL transaction, it is 1,59,000, which I would have defined in my operational chart of accounts as a reconciliation account to accept the special general ledger transactions pertaining to the vendor. Clear? Now I have ensured. Now my job is over. Consultant's job is over. I'll exit out. Now I will start the operations from the end user perspective. Document entry, down payment. I'll start making a down payment. Okay, I will go to this F-47 request. What is this? This generates a noted item. Clear? Now I will skip this step for the moment. I'll go to the next step where I'm actually transacting. I'm actually paying. Document date is today. KZ. Vendor account 6400. Can you see the special GL indicator is a required entry? In the previous cases, you would see that the special GL indicator never even appeared. But now you see, for the advances received or for the advances made transaction, this is the connecting point. This is the identifier. So I said A, right? When I went to the consultant screen, I showed you something called as A. Yeah. Now I would amount, let me receive 1,25,000 as an advance. Advance made. Okay. At this moment, go to new item or simply press enter. Any one of the two things, both are the same. Go to new item. So what is the advance that I'm paying? 125, 1,25,000. Okay. Amount is 125. Advances made. Clear? Tax code must be entered. Okay, I will enter the tax code. Clear? Now I can simulate, or I can simply say, I'll simulate. Okay, okay. What I'll do is I will try to post. Okay, not a problem. If I'm going too fast, please stop me. Can you see that there is something here 29A? I will show. I'll post this document. Document was successfully posted. You can see 15,000,033. Okay. Now I want to see this document. If B03. Enter. Now do you see 29 is the posting key, 50 is the posting key. Mrs. Alpha Limited has got a debit. Sample bank account has got a credit. Clear? Just hold on. I wanted to show you something interesting. Let me just check. Just hold on, guys. This is not your. Follow me. Don't bother about this. Don't worry. Special GL indicator. So what I do is I will posting key. Okay, I will save this. Now can you see the special GL indicator A is also being displayed? You saw that A when I was doing that transaction. The same A has appeared. So your posting key for your down payments, for your advances made or received, is always accompanied with the indicator. Are you getting my point? Okay. Now what I'll do. So now I have paid the advance. I'll see the balance of my vendor. If BL1N, all items, execute. Now do you see the display of 1,25,000 anywhere? The balance is still 0. Can you see? Can you see this? Now I'll make use of another transaction code, or if you want, you can also do this. Noted items or parked items, special GL. You can click here also. Now you have got the entry for your advances. I will show you another way. I'm showing you the same thing, but in a different transaction code. That's it. FK10N. Now can you see there is no 1,25,000. The accounts are balanced. 4,25,000 debit, 4,25,000 credit. Where is that 1,25,000? Can you see that? There is no reference of 1,25,000. Here, go to the special GL tab. You will see that 1,25,000. And can you see the balance? 1,25,000. Clear? Now, how do I settle this advance? Or rather, how does the vendor settle this advance? When he supplies the goods. What happens when he supplies the goods? He raises an invoice. He raises a purchase invoice and he sends it to me. He sends it to my organization. So what do? I enter that invoice in my SAP system. Same transaction, FB60. I'll enter the invoice. All right. It could be for 1,25,000. It could be for 2 lakhs. It could be for 1 lakh. It could be for 50,000. Any invoice. There is no compulsion that you must have a invoice for the same advance amount. It can be less. It can be more. And to what extent you want to settle the advance is up to you and your vendor. Now, in the current scenario, what I'm assuming is I am purchasing items, or rather he has supplied items for 1,25,000. Is the scenario clear? OK, now I'll finish this process for the same vendor. So I have received goods worth 1,25,000. Settlement of advance. Enter. See, does SAP system? Somebody had asked me maybe say 2 or 3 days ago, asking whether there is a indication by the system that there is a advance existing. Now do you see the now do you see how the system is behaving? It is flashing a message saying that there is an advance existing against this particular vendor to the extent of this particular amount. Clear? Relevant to tax, no problem. I will post this. there is a document which has got generated. Now I have an advance for 1,25,000. Now I have an invoice for 1,25,000. Let us see whether system is also talking the same amount. Account FK tenant. Now can you see the general invoice, the general purchase has boosted up by 1,25,000. This is the normal. But if you see the special GL, there is still that 1,25,000 which is open. Now what I'll do is I will connect this 1,25,000 rupees invoice with this 1,25,000 rupees advance. And I'll connect these two. How do I connect? Down payment, clearing. I created the advance. Now I'm going to clear. What is the process of clearing? I'm connecting the invoice with the advance. That is all. Clearing. Now can you see the recently posted invoice has been picked up? I didn't do anything with the invoice number. Like this, I can connect my advance to any of the open invoices against which I want to settle. It is not necessary that I need to settle only against the previously, or rather the fresh invoice only. Clear? So again, clear? Now I am connecting the invoice to the advance. Just see the next screen. I'll process say down payments on top, or I can press enter. Can you see this 1,25,000? Transfer posted. I'll simply double click here. You can see that with the 1,25,000 rupees has been considered. Now I post. Now do you see that there is a different document number 17000003? If you want, you can see this document also. Not a problem. But let us see whether the vendor balance is showing or not showing any advances. Here. Account. FK tenant. See now the balance is also 5,50,000. Clear? Go to the special GL. It has got cleared. Can you see how this particular system is behaving? Did you understand the process? Now go and see the document 17003. I wanted to show you, right? Where is that? 170003. Now see the entry. See, concentrate on the posting special GL indicator. See. Just hold on. I will bring in that GL also. The special GL indicator. Now can you see the change in the display? There is also one special GL indicator against the posting key. So which is indicative of the special general ledger transaction. So this is exactly how your system will behave when you're talking about the advances made. Advances received is also the same concept. Clear? Confusing, interesting. I'll just pause here for 2 minutes and take up your questions. Universal journal is nothing but a concept of your leading and non-leading ledgers. Don't. Okay. Was this clear? What are tolerance groups? Okay, I didn't show you how to block, right? I'll show. Not a problem. Did I even talk about the tolerance groups? Why this question? Did I answer this question? People asking me the questions, please mention whether your questions have been still open or closed. I'll answer this question once we come back from our break. Why are you jumping topics? I am talking about the down payment. Have you understood that? Stick to the topics. This is not the platform for you to exhibit your knowledge. Please do not try to do that. All right. Once again, I'm repeating. I am asking you questions regards to topics which have happened. I know you are very well aware of the system, how it is working. And by asking me such questions, you are confusing the others. Please remain within the topics, whatever I have covered. Just by exhibiting your knowledge, please, you are confusing your friends. Clear? I think I have answered this question. Was the student not present while I did this topic today? Today morning itself, I did this retained earnings account. I hope this is clear. I have already answered this question. OK, since you have asked me this question, I will definitely take you to this topic. What are tolerance groups? This is through the concept of your retained earnings account. Clear? There is no such concept. We'll have to carry forward. We'll have to do a journal entry, and this happens only the first time. I have already explained this. This happens. This carry forward of the balances happens only manually once. And this is a process where we construct a Excel sheet and we upload the entry so that it picks up the system. The new SAP system picks up the opening balances. Clear? There is only one. Cutover activities is a necessary and it is very, very mandatory. It is in the cutover activities that we do this. I hope I was clear. Yeah, at least you reply that. Yes, it does automatically calculate tax. I will tell you how this is being done. How does this tax system? Okay. Wonderful question. I'll take this. Okay. So I'll just make a note. What do I need to do? Did you understand the special GL? I need to do the tax and tolerance. Clear? So I will definitely take up these topics. All right. Very good. Thank you. At least you have replied that you have understood the concept. OK. Thank you. Perfect. OK. Any other question? Now, we didn't do the first step in our activity. What activity? GL. I mean, the special general ledger transaction. That is where you are just requesting for the down payment. OK. Just hold on. Let the system re-log in. How is the system? How do you feel about the system? Interesting. Subject is really interesting, right? Now, the first thing. Financial accounting, accounts payable, document entry, down payment request. So what did I say this was? First point, it is called as a noted item in SAP. And I also made another point. This does not have any financial impact. I will show you. It has only one line item. Now you saw a debit and a credit. This request will not have debit and a credit. You will just see only one item. Let us see how the system behaves. Now today, I am going to request my vendor for or rather, I'll send him a request that I'll pay in advance of 2,50,000 rupees. Just see the process. 113105. Special GL indicator. What do I give here? A. Do I give anything else? Not it. New item. Is not defined account. Oh, vendor account. Sorry. No special GL account defined. OK. Request, right? I think I need to give a different request. Okay, let me just check. I think it must be F or something. Down payment request F. So for actual transaction, money transaction, A is your down payment indicator. But just for requesting, your request is identified by a special GL indicator F. OK. Not defined. procedure enter to initiate the okay. See, I need to make so much of settings. Don't bother. This is not your area. Not your area at all. Please hold on. You don't have to concentrate on this. Now let me see if this operation is successful. Let me just check. Okay. I'll go back and enter, re-enter. Guys, please do not break your head on this. This needs a fill in all the required fields. Okay. Oh, okay, okay. Field on F. Specified here indicator is not classified or not listed in a target. Entry is not enter a special to initiate a change in the default settings. Just hold on. In the meantime, I'll just try to initiate or try to rectify this issue and come back to you. Okay. Madam, shall we take a break?
Yes, sir. Sure, sir. So now it's 12:03. We'll take a short break and we'll be back by 12:13.
Sure, madam. Sure. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am. I'm back.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir. So we can resume the session, sir.
sure, ma'am.
Yes.
So, students, for the current moment, let us park this question. I think it requires a little bit more time to attend to that issue. All right. So if I try to rectify, probably conceptually, it may be a little, it may look a little complicated. Okay. Now, let me take up the other question. For the current moment, let me take up what is tolerance groups. Or rather, okay, I'll come back to tax later. Tolerance groups. Now, let us say I'm a clerk in the accounts payable section, and the management has decided that all the clerks in any of the department should not be allowed to post invoices greater than 1 lakh. Or rather say, let me make it 10 lakhs. So as a clerk, I will not be allowed to post documents greater than 10 lakhs. How does the system identify that it's a clerk who's entering the invoice? It is a manager who's entering the invoice. So we have already known this through the user ID. We enter the user ID, right? So against this user ID, I'll be given a tolerance group. So what is a tolerance group? Basically to restrict the postings to specific people. So you have known this practical example, right? So you have understood the current scenario. That is, I am not supposed to enter invoices greater than 10 lakhs. Let me see how the system responds. Now I'm entering an invoice or entering a voucher. I'll come back to this later. Oh, I'll have to relog. Just a moment, students. Just a moment. Let the system relog in. Now let me show you the example practical. I'm trying to enter a voucher, simple journal voucher. Some sample. Let me enter the sum expense is 10 lakhs 250 rupees. 10 lakh 250 rupees. Just a fictitious entry. Okay, don't bother. Clear? Enter. So SAP is happy. It is accepting 10 lakh 250 rupees. But whereas my management wants to restrict my voucher to a value of only less than 10 lakhs. How does the system ensure that this is going to happen? This is through a, and very nice of the student who has asked me this question. Very nice. Okay, let me go to the consulting screen. This is how we control the concept of the document entry. So I need to enter into the customizing space. Consultant screen. Here we have something called as the tolerance groups. On purpose, I'm not showing you the consultants menu. Can you see something called as a tolerance groups? Assign, define and assign. Now I'll define a tolerance groups for employees. Okay, let us say we have something called as a clerk or something, CLRK. Oh, I already have. Now let me make it as for a clerk, I cannot enter more than 10 lakhs. And per line item, I cannot enter more than 5 lakhs. For the whole invoice, my value should not exceed 10 lakhs. But for one line item, if I have 10 debits or say 10 credits, each one of the line item should not exceed 5 lakhs. Some requirement. So here, what have I done? I have created a clerical tolerance group, which says the restricted amount for this particular group is 10 lakhs. It is enough if you remember that, no problem. Data was saved. Clear? Now I'll assign this particular tolerance groups against my user ID. So let me just check if there is. So I'll go to new entries and assign. Correct? I'll save this. So now I have assigned my restriction to the tolerance group. Now come back to my data entry, exit out. Now see how the system behaves. I'm entering the same amount, 10 lakh 250 rupees. You may only post documents up to a value of 10 lakh. Can you see how the system restricts a specific user not to enter documents exceeding a specific value? This is one of the classic examples of your tolerance groups. Was this concept clear? Did you understand the concept of tolerance groups? Clear? Okay. Let me just see if you have understood. Perfect. Thank you. Clear? Now, somebody asked me, does the system pick up the tax rates automatically? Yes. But how will the system know that for one kind of a transaction it is 5%? I'm just assuming the rates, okay? Please do not connect this with your GST concepts. So for another transaction, it is 10%. So as a consultant, what happens? What I need to do is I need to configure some things called as a tax codes, yeah, so that the system picks up the amounts automatically. Now let me just give you one example. I'll enter this particular GL. Some expense account I'll enter. 10,000 rupees. I'll give the tax code, say 5%. Clear? Some expense account subjected to tax. Now go to details. Details tab. Say calculate tax. Clear? So what is the percentage? I5, 5%. Enter. Just go to simulate. Why is this not taking up? Okay. So how is this being done? There is a concept called as your tax codes and your tax procedures. Let me just check if everything is in place. Tax on sales and purchases. Again, it is a consultant's fix. You do not have to unduly get worried about this. Tax. Now basic settings. Let me just check. On purpose, I'm not explaining things in detail. Okay. Tax in. Please do not bother about this configuration. Okay. On purpose, I'm not explaining too many things as far as the subject is concerned, especially the taxation. Okay, what I'll do is postage. Don't worry, don't worry. Okay, I'll make a vendor posting. I'm purchasing. Don't worry about whatever I'm doing. Don't bother. Can you see the tax being calculated? 476.19. You can see this. Don't bother, don't worry. I'll show you the simulation. Can you see the input tax account? So did I give 476 rupees 0.19 paise? No, I never gave. This was calculated based on this I5. What is this I5? This was a tax code defined at 5% for which I have applied the transaction fee. So this purchase of spares was subjected to 5% tax. So the end user simply gave the tax code as 5, I5, and the system has calculated. Did I answer your question on the tax? So this is a configuration. Why this GL account? How this GL account? So it has automatically considered. Is this clear? This is how your taxation behaves. Your tax codes, whether it is input, output, the finance consultant creates the tax codes, and the tax codes are held within a place called as tax procedures. Okay, now I'll just make a note of it. So tolerance group, I think, was clear. Any questions? Tax, you have something called as a tax procedures, within which you have a tax code configured by the finance consultant. Clear? Please let me know if I have answered your questions. Someone had asked me about regarding the tax. So I think I have answered that question also. But see, when you're see what happens when you're setting up the tolerance groups, you can also allow the person to grant discounts. You can also restrict the discount given to what percentage, whether it is 1%, whether it is 0.5%, whether it's 2%. All right. So based on each transaction, if at all, you have to permit the user not to exceed a specific percentage of discount or whatever it is, you can restrict there in the tolerance. That is a meaning. Have you understood this? I'm assuming that you have understood. So the tax part is also clear, I hope. Any other questions? Interesting. No, it is not 2000%. It is 2.000. 2%. That is how the system reads. It is not 2000%. Clear? If you have seen this, it is 2,000. Clear? Any other questions which I have missed? I hope all the questions have been answered. Sounds interesting, students? Anyway, I'm not going to post this. I'm going to exit out of the system. So in the AP and AR, we have covered wonderful concepts, correct? Starting from the normal transaction, the invoices, the especially from the accounts payable side. Things should have been very, very interesting because you saw a wonderfully designed system. All right. And this is SAP at its simplest form. Okay. So you can really imagine all the possible scenarios which may crop up in the complex businesses. Okay. So it is up to the consultant to actually design the system, configure the system in the way the client expects or your implementing partner expects. Clear? So that is why I always say, and I'm repeating once again, saying a yes or a no in SAP is very important, or rather, it's very, very easy. But it so happens that in some cases, there was a very interesting scenario where the end user, I think this project was a European project. Yeah, it was a European project. And here the end user had raised a ticket. He had raised an issue just to understand the dunning process. Can you imagine? His system was working perfectly. He was getting no errors, but he simply wanted to understand the dunning process. And in the while you're dealing with international clients, or rather, you're dealing with MNCs, what typically happens is you can see a different structure. Rather, how should I put this? Now in India here, suppose if somebody comes and asks you a question, you are expected to know the answer, correct? So whether the area it is pertaining to you or not, whenever a question is asked, suppose you're a professionally qualified person, right? The expectation is that you must know each and everything, and you should answer me quickly at the instant. But there, in the other side, it is not so. If I am given a task to perform only the invoice entry, I am going to be an expert only in that area. You cannot expect me to process the payments. No, I won't know. And they say I'm not for that work. I'm here only to enter the invoices. You ask me any questions regarding that, I'll answer. But I do not know anything about the payments. Why do you want me to know about the payments? They will definitely question. And the end users in their area, they are so very knowledgeable. I was talking to you about this end user, right? Who asked us a question regards the dunning process. We learned so many things from that ticket. It was he kept on probing as to why the system is showing this date and why not this date. Yeah, he went up to that details. It was so wonderful resolving that issue. So finally, we had a telephonic talk with him also. And finally, he was also happy at our resolution, and he was very happy the way we went about explaining the system and also the solution. And it was such a learning process. Though I was directly not involved in the resolution of that particular issue, I found the issue to be very interesting, and I requested my team lead if I could also if I could just simply sit with the consultants who are resolving that issue. So after I finished my normal working hours, I used to sit with the other team and try to understand. Same thing happened with asset accounting also. Same thing happened with asset accounting. Very interesting. You'll see when I take up asset accounting, maybe say today afternoon. Yeah, you will see how interesting the topic is. We'll spend some time once we are back from lunch. We will spend some time. Okay, we can spend some time now. Anyway, we have 15 more minutes for lunch. So we'll try to as well read the document, whatever has been given to you, and let us see if we have to cover any other topics. So we had almost closed in on 600 pages, I guess, right? Let us see. Some 600 pages or something we had covered. Let me check. So I hope students, things were very interesting till now. Yeah. and there was a lot of learning. You agree with me? Just give me a moment. Good. Okay, now that you have understood. See, normally the closure activities is done by not exactly by the end user, maybe by a super user, or maybe say uh, power user or somebody. See, obviously the consultant would have tested the system and he would just tell how it needs to be done. And the persons who are given the authorization to see, each department will have a departmental head. He is given the authorization to close the transactions for that year. Clear? So this is how the closing process takes place. See, automatically this is done. We learned the concept of your retained earnings account. Or did I make a note of it? Ah, it is there, retained earnings account. So basically to carry forward the previous year balances. Clear? And we saw the process, how the general ledger account is built to carry forward this information. Clear? You saw that X, you had that 9 lakh GL account. Clear? So incidentally, this is one of the very first general ledger accounts which gets created within the chart of accounts. Without which, see how beautifully the system is designed. The system will not allow you to create any other general ledger account without you creating this general ledger account in the first place. So the first and the foremost activity of a consultant, implementing consultant, is to create this particular retained earnings account and then create the other general ledger accounts. Clear? Did you understand the connection? Now let us read through the document. So we had almost reached 600 pages, right? We had finished 600 slides or even more than that. Yeah. See the closing process, as you can see, something called as a closing cockpit. The closure activities is so here what happens, we create something called as a templates. Nothing but a set of activities which we have to carry, which we have to perform during the usual closure, with or without SA. So here we have something called as a closing cockpit, which is automated. It is a closure activity. See, more than one person responsible. Chronological sequence, meaning one activity after another activity. So it is called as a closing cockpit. Okay, let me put it here. The transaction code is CLOCO, CLOCO. This is the transaction code. Let me show if it is working. Let me show you the. See, it will take you into a transaction for the closing. You'll see the transaction. Here we create so many things. First and the foremost thing is called as a template. Do I see a template out here? Have I created something? See, I chronologically mentioned the task, one after the other, one after the other. Okay, the depending tasks also. Only after this task can take place. Something like this. So there are things called as your activities. Okay, you define so many things out here. Okay, don't have to worry about much. You only have one page, as you can also see. Activities recur periodically. More than one person is responsible. The activities are performed within the sequence of the activities. The activities need to be supported or shared. Yeah. Same concept. Just read them through. You'll be in a much better position to understand. Has he explained the process of foreign currency valuation? Let me just take it to that. FAGL FCEP. What is a transaction code? I just let me just read this. So you know why the foreign currency valuation is done, right? Just to find out whether you're profiting by carrying out this export or the import activity, or you are under a loss based upon the periodicity, based on the frequency of transact. Okay, if basically your concentration is on the local market and you happen to export or import very, very rarely, then it's still okay. Even if there is a loss of say a few hundreds, it is still okay. I think by now you should be clear enough to understand what is an open item. Can you understand this line? The balances of the general ledger account that are not managed. How do you know that the GL account is managed on an open item basis? Go back to your bread and butter transaction code, your FS00. What is FS00? It is your general ledger account. It is a master record for your general ledger account. Now, can you see any general ledger account? If I have to open item management or line item display. So what happens if it's open item? Just read. I have done an F1. Items posted to accounts managed on an open item basis are marked as open or cleared. You saw that, right? When we saw the balances of our customer and vendor, you saw the line items or you saw the open invoices as open or clear. That is the mean. And where is that being defined? It is defined in the master record of every general ledger account. This particular characteristic is for every general ledger account which you have defined or which you have constructed in your operational chart of accounts. New learning, right? So now you see what information this master data for a general ledger account has. So that's why I still remember my mentor making a statement. You become a master or you understand these particular screens, you are a master in your SAP finance model. Or rather, you have got a good grip over the SAP finance model. So much of learning only in this particular transaction code. Since tomorrow, if some people are interested to become or take up SAP consulting as their career, this is the bread and butter. Clear? Now, let me just check if you have piled up any questions. No? Rollout project. What is a rollout project? Suppose there is a conceptual change, like say in your accounting. Absolutely. As far as I'll just explain this rollout project. I'll complete this. So now we move from one taxation system to another taxation system. Does the whole of finance change? It is only some portion of the finance which has changed, which is undergoing the change. Suppose there is something changes in the asset accounting tomorrow. So are you going to change the entire finance module? No, you are going to only take up the portion which has changed and you're going to apply those patches. So this is a typical example of your rollout projects. As far as now coming back to this question, all MNCs and PSUs exactly have the same SAP system. The answer is yes, if at all the standard SAP system is concerned, you will have the same look. Standard field, standard thing. OK, but the PSU business and your MNC business, is it one and the same? If you're talking about the telecom PSU, I mean, if you're talking about the telecom MNC and you're comparing the SAP system to a defense PSU, will it be the same? Obviously, the screens can be the same. The SAP standard screens will be the same. Your data entry screen and everything will not change, may not change. But the way what is expected out of an MNC SAP system is a requirement the same that of a PSU. Yes or no? Obviously, it is going to be a no. So that is why, as far as the working of the SAP system is concerned, there could be a huge difference. Was this question answered? Yeah. Where to take further SAP classes? So many online classes. Who's the original certificate for? Please share the duration and the fee details. Sorry, I will not be the right person to answer this question. I will not be the right person to answer this question. Okay. But yes, there are authorized institutions. It is up to you to understand which institute is providing an authorized certification. Yeah. It is for you to find out and enroll yourself for that particular. And what is that authorized SAP? The system or the certificate will be issued by SAP itself. The institute will have no role to do that, to issue the certificate on behalf of SAP. No, this will never happen. So shall we close the pre-lunch session, madam?
Yes, sir. Sure, sir. So students, we are taking a break now, lunch break, and we resume back by 2 p.m. for the next session of SAP. Thank you all. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Bye bye all.